On the news, police arrest 9 suspects over murder of personnel in Delta State. Tinubu inaugurates 6th legislature of ECOWAS Parliament, backs direct elections. And federal government reopens renovated Lagos 3rd Mainland Bridge. Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Atigun. At least 9 suspects have been arrested by the police over the murder of 6 personnel killed during a special operation at Evil Forest in Ughelli North local government area of Delta State on February 26. The arrests were among a total of 3,685 criminal suspects reined into the police net in the last 8 weeks. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, who disclosed this, says the 3,685 suspects were arrested for their participation in various crimes within the period. Egbetokun also said the force rescued 401 kidnapped victims, recovered 216 various firearms, 3,601 ammunition, and 82 vehicles. Meanwhile, the Defense Headquarters DHQ says no fewer than 2,351 terrorists, including 10 high-ranking commanders, have been killed by the troops during the first quarter of 2024. The Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this during the bi-weekly briefing on ongoing military operations across various theaters from January to March 2024. Buba says the waves of successes are attributed to the synchronized strikes between the ground and air forces on terrorist enclaves. He further assured that the military would up its game against criminals based on improved intelligence gathering.
Our attacks and offensive actions in this first quarter of 2024 has resulted in 2,351 terrorists neutralized, 2,308 persons arrested, and 1,241 kidnapped hostages rescued in the first quarter. Furthermore, troops recovered in this first quarter 2,847 weapons and over 58,000 assorted ammunition. And we denied the oil theft of over 20 billion naira in this first quarter of 2024.
The arraignment of Binance Holdings Limited and one of its senior executives, Tigray Gambaryan, has been stalled at the Federal High Court Abuja. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, had dragged the firm to court for tax evasion. At Thursday's proceedings, Gambaryan counsel Tonye Krukrubo drew the attention of the court to the fact that his client, whom the federal government scheduled for arraignment, has no idea of the charges leveled against him. In its address, the prosecution prayed the court for an adjournment to enable the defendant go through the charge and be ready to take his plea. Justice Emeka Nwete subsequently adjourned till 19th April for arraignment in the FIRS suit. A big relief has now come for commuters in Nigeria's commercial city of Lagos as the federal government has reopened the 3rd Mainland Bridge after it was shut down for several months to allow for total repairs. The Federal Controller of Works in Lagos State, Olukorede Kesha, says the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has authorized the reopening of the bridge for public use, while other works like the installation of solar panels and CCTV cameras continue. TV360's correspondent, Chidi Igwe, has the rest of the story.
It's a completely new look 3rd Mainland Bridge. For months, residents who use the major bridge that connects the mainland of the city to the island have had to put with huge discomfort of the closure of the bridge for repair work. But judging by the new appearance of the bridge, the discomfort may have well been worth it. A lot of effort has been put into the rehabilitation work, and now the authorities are reopening the bridge for public use.
The Minister of Works has directed that the 3rd Mainland Bridge be opened for public use, while the remaining works like the solar light installation and CCTV installations are ongoing. He also directed that the remaining ongoing works will not disrupt the flow of traffic. He further said that the brick deck works will be completed by May 2024 and will be commissioned by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
While the bridge is now reopened for public use, the rehabilitation work is not completely over. Some works are still ongoing. The authorities say the remaining repair will continue alongside the usage of the bridge.
Today we are fixing the speed limits. It is in conjunction with the Federal Road Safety, and they're on the bridge now doing that. The speed limit has been designed to be 80. So if you speed past 80 in the next few weeks, your Honorable Commissioner will have you to contend with. At the renewal of your vehicle license, you will be surcharged. You'll be paying something more.
This infrastructure that we can all see is one that we don't need to do any work on it in another 4 or 5 years. Any major work I mean. So as regards that, I think we're good. There will be zero tolerance on anyone caught trying to mess around or destroy the infrastructure that we put in place. This is for us all, and we should embrace it and keep it. So much government can do. As citizens, we also have the responsibility of ensuring that whatever is given to us like infrastructure, it should be used as so, and not for the purpose of vandalism.
For commuters who have had to endure the difficulties that came with the bridge closure, they are happy with the new experience.
The bridge is working perfectly and is good. So I'm one of the first person that will pass the bridge. It's a big privilege for me. Lagos State are working, APC are working. So we should move forward more better than this.
The reopening of the bridge surely relieves commuters of the burden of spending long hours in traffic. The public now awaits the completion of other installations as promised. Chidi Igwe, TV360 News, Lagos.
Many have commended the federal government's decision to have security agents arrest citizens who possess fake degree certificates. This comes after the Minister of Education, Tahir Maman, told journalists that culprits will be tracked down once the federal government committee investigating the operations of university certificate racketeers submits its report. Speaking on the development, senior lecturer at the University of Lagos Department of Mass Communication, Olunifesi Suraj, urged the government to broaden its probe to include universities within the country that are exploiting students by issuing fake certificates in order to get employment.
We can have a database of anybody that have come out from these universities, that these people certificates are null and void, that they are not recognized, and that you cannot use it for any purpose in Nigeria, that the certificates are fraudulently obtained and does not, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is not acceptable. And maybe a public statement is made, even public gazette, they can even gazette it, so that it becomes binding. Because anybody has a choice to go and, go to any university he wants to go to. But it's the country that says these certificates are not acceptable. So I'm not a lawyer, and then I don't know whether, okay, if you, for instance, probably you have certificate from WAEC and it's fraudulent, okay? And probably you just got it from a roadside. Anybody can get a certificate from a roadside, but the moment you want to use it to do anything, then you can be arrested. That who issued that certificate for you? We didn't issue it to you. But in this case now, the institution issued it, but the institutions are fraudulent. Let me put it that way. So it's a bit dicey, but all I know is that Nigeria as a country can say, if you have this certificate from these kind of institutions, your certificate is null and void, and that such people should not be employed. And if any organization goes to employ them, then that organization can be sued.
In a bid to reinforce the long-lasting relationship between Spain and Nigeria and underscore their joint commitment to combating maritime crimes in the Gulf of Guinea, the Spanish Navy has made a port call to the Western Naval Command of the Nigerian Navy. Rear Admiral Mustafa Hassan, the flag officer commanding of the Western Naval Command, warmly received the Spanish Navy, acknowledging Spain's active role in enhancing security in the region and highlighting the positive history of bilateral relations and cooperation in maritime security between both nations. During the visit, Spanish Ambassador to Nigeria, Juan Ignacio Cel, reiterated the significance of collaboration between Spain and Nigeria in ensuring maritime security, emphasizing that the protection of maritime routes is vital due to the substantial volume of trade between both countries.
If you talk to any public servant, he would say that perhaps more means are needed, but the important thing is to have or to be sure that your path is going in the right direction, and I have no doubt that the Nigerian is very well oriented towards its missions, very relevant missions that of course do benefit Nigeria and the Nigerian people in the first place, but also all of us. And I want to underscore this in particular. We all benefit from the good work by the Nigerian Navy.
Following the port visit of Spanish naval ship Tornado last year, the chief of the naval staff embarked on a visit to Spain in January this year, and it's a fruitful visit with many positive outcomes. Then looking wider at trade, Nigeria has been on the positive side regarding balance of trade with Spain, and we look forward to expanding our trade corridor with the country. And we're also available to help Spain whenever the need arises. As they go out in a couple of days, we'll conduct the usual exercises together and train together towards achieving more synergetic operations together.
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has disclosed a notable tariff increase for customers classified under Band A. At a press briefing held in Abuja, the NERC's Vice Chairman, Musliu Oseni, revealed that these customers, who account for 15% of the country's 12 million electricity consumers, will now be required to pay 225 naira per kilowatt hour from the initial 66 naira per kilowatt hour. The decision for this tariff adjustment is linked to the recent increase in the base price of natural gas, raised from $2.18 to $2.42 per metric million British thermal unit by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority.
Based on our review of the data available to the Commission, we realized that on average, the Band A customers got about 16 hours instead of the 20 hours. That was on average then. But that means that when you are doing average, it means that some got above, some got the minimum of 20 hours, and some definitely get something below. And it was on that basis we started the review or pruning down of the Band A feeders, leading to this final decision. I told you that close to 900 feeders were initially stated as Band A feeders. That is 875, if I remember correctly, as Band A feeders in the whole regime. But what we have currently is less than 500 that the Commission has determined that really got the necessary service, and it is those feeders that the Commission has approved for their rate to go up, and those feeders will be published in the website of the distribution companies, 7 days rolling average, and also in the orders of the Commission. The approved affected feeders will be published in the order of the, is already contained in the order of the Commission that will be published later.
Chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, Bola Tinubu, has formally inaugurated the 6th legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja following the end of the 5th legislature on March 8, 2024. The inauguration ceremony took place at the Abuja International Conference Center on Thursday. Tinubu also declared his support for a proposal for the direct election of members into the ECOWAS Parliament, which he believes would allow citizens of member states to participate in the selection of their representatives. TV360 Nigeria has more on this story. The inaugural session of the Parliament, which formally marks the commencement of the 6th legislature, is pursuant to Article 28 of the Supplementary Act on Enhancement of Powers of the ECOWAS Parliament of 2016. At the session, members also elected the Speaker of the 6th legislature to serve a 4-year tenure in accordance with the provisions of the 2016 Supplementary Act. In his remarks, Chairman of ECOWAS, Bola Tinubu, called for accelerated and sustained economic development of member states through effective cooperation and the progressive integration of economies.
Our journey towards a future of peace and prosperity. We cannot succeed without the loyal contribution and hard work of our community's legislative agency. Furthermore, to realize the ECOWAS vision of 2050, we require greater involvement of the people in the decision-making process of the community. Please bear that in mind. That can only be achieved through their duly elected representatives who, being members of their national parliaments, are seconded to the community parliament. We are here collectively to serve all the good and greater people of West Africa.
Speaking on the heels of the coups in Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger Republic and their decision to withdraw from the bloc, Tinubu appealed to the trio to reconsider their stance as their exit could spell far-reaching consequences for their citizens as well as the region.
We must preserve the unity and integrity of our organization. The ball is in your court, as well as mine. At this critical junction, regional solidarity is imperative to strengthening our resiliency and effectiveness as a bloc, particularly against forces that aim to divide us. We must not allow this. We cannot afford to remain passive and ordinary spectators while our community faces the threat of disintegration. We stand united against such forces and are committed to ensuring that our unity remains unshaken.
On his part, the ECOWAS Commission President says the resurgence of coups has challenged the region in more ways, thereby making West Africa reflect on what was not working in its process of consolidating democracy.
Our people, the people of West Africa, have lived in one integrated ECOWAS community for several decades now. Our people have enjoyed freedom of movement in our ECOWAS space. Our people have begun to see the benefit of our common market, where original products are traded freely in a market of 400 million people. Our people also move about with a common passport and a common biometric identity card. The disintegration will not only disturb the freedom of movement and establishment of people, it will also aggravate insecurity of the region. More specifically, the withdrawal will affect security cooperation in terms of sharing intelligence and participation in regional counter-terrorism and other security initiatives, such as the Accra Initiative and the Multinational Joint Task Force.
Also addressing the gathering, Nigeria Senate President Godswill Akpabio called for more initiatives to strengthen ECOWAS institutional architecture and to deepen its common policies.
We must strive to deepen regional integration, enhance trade and investment, promote the free movement of goods, services, and people within our community. That calls for serious diplomatic shuttle and diplomacy by the incoming 6th Assembly of ECOWAS Parliament. Together we can harness the power of cooperation, innovation and dialogue to overcome the obstacles that lie before us. Let us remember that the strength of our community lies in our diversity, and it is through unity and solidarity that we can overcome any adversity and achieve our shared goals.
The high point of the inaugural session is the swearing-in of the 97 members into the 6th ECOWAS Parliament by the various parliaments of member states. The new members affirmed before the chairman of the authority their commitment to serve the interest of the people and the region. Simisola Atigun, TV 360 News. We'll take a short break here, but still to come, Nigeria's Super Eagles dropped 2 spots globally, remain Africa's 3rd best in new FIFA rankings. Stay with us. News Now will return shortly. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. Chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, Bola Tinubu, has formally inaugurated the 6th legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja, following the end of the 5th legislature on March 8, 2024. The inauguration ceremony took place at the Abuja International Conference Center on Thursday. Tinubu also declared his support for a proposal for the direct election of members into the ECOWAS Parliament, which he believes would allow citizens of member states participate in the selection of their representatives. We also told you that big relief has now come for commuters in Nigeria's commercial city of Lagos, as the federal government has reopened the 3rd Mainland Bridge after it was shut down for several months to allow for total repairs. The Federal Controller of Works in Lagos State, Olukorede Kesha, says the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has authorized the reopening of the bridge for public use, while other works, like the installation of solar panels and CCTV cameras, continue. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Well, let's now join Joy Uchejim for the latest stories in business. Joy, what's the latest?
Thank you, Simi. Welcome to Business News. The Edo refinery has confirmed receipt of a total of 15,000 barrels of crude oil in 2024 for production from the Oza oil field operated by Decla Resources Incorporated and its co-venturer Millennium Oil and Gas Company Limited, according to a statement released by the Chief Executive Officer of Decla Resources, Sami Famuyide. Ongoing crude oil injection volumes are being maintained into the Trans-Niger pipeline for transportation to the Bonny Export Terminal. The plant, initially designed with a capacity of 6,000 barrels per day, is currently undergoing expansion to reach 21,000 barrels per day. Up next is stock market reports. Welcome back. Nigeria's equities market on Thursday continued its movement in the red zone, reducing by 0.43% and losing 252 billion naira, as stock market investors cautiously traded in line with earnings reports as well as corporate benefits. Now, in the aggregate, 124 NGX listed equities participated in trading, ending with 23 gainers and 26 losers. Now, on the losing side, C&I leasing came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 9.79% at 3 naira 50 kobo per share, followed by mutual benefit assurance, which closed at 0 naira 64 kobo per share. Now, at the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 487 million volumes of shares were exchanged in 8,908 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 15 billion naira. Now, we switched our select global stock. Reverse is the case for our foreign stocks, as the UK FTSE, US Dow Jones, and Japan's Nikkei all maintained a northward progression and ended in the bulls at 0.48%, 0.48%, and 0.81% respectively. Now, that's it on both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Joy, for that update. And on the foreign scene, the former Speaker of South Africa's Parliament has been arrested and charged with multiple counts of corruption 1 day after she resigned her position. Nosiviwe Mapisa Nkakula's arrest is yet another blow to the reputation of the governing African National Congress Party, ANC, as it gears up for what is predicted to be South Africa's most contentious election since the end of the apartheid. The 67-year-old was charged in court with 12 counts of corruption and 1 of money laundering, and accused of having taken bribes worth some $120,000 from a former military contractor to secure a contract from her time as Defense Minister. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
A magistrate court in Abuja has summoned 5 social media users for criminal defamation of gospel singer Mercy Chinwo and her husband, Pastor Blessed Uzochikwa's reputation. Chief Magistrate Emmanuel Iyana issues the court summons on April 3, 2024, ordering the 5 defendants to appear in person before the court on April 23, 2024, to face the allegations against them. The lawsuit resulted from the defendants' paternity claim, which they filed last week, claiming that Mercy Chinwo's child with her husband resembled another gospel singer, Nathaniel Bassey, and that he is the father of the child, an allegation that quickly spread across the internet. Nigeria's anti-graft agency, EFCC, has stirred reactions from netizens as they released the mugshot of crossdresser Bobrisky while grilling him for naira abuse. The controversial crossdresser was reported to have been arrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission due to a viral video which showed him abusing the naira. He was spotted spraying the naira at an event, an action that is strongly frowned against by the government. A recent mugshot released by the agency shows him holding a placard which showed off his record. And that's it on entertainment news on News Now. Joy Otejim, TV360, Lagos.
And on sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have dropped 2 places from the 28th to 30th in the world based on FIFA's latest rankings. According to the list released on Thursday by the World Football Governing Body, the 3-time African champions remain the 3rd best team on the continent. Nigeria's current rating was due to mixed results in the international friendly games played in March. The Eagles secured a 2-1 victory over Ghana in the first friendly match, but lost 2-0 to Mali in the second game. That's all on News Now. Join us next time for more stories. Thank you for watching.